is a reflection of us.
Welcome. I've been scouring YouTube lately, I suppose, as I live each day now. It's finding more and more sense of reality is not itself. I was listening to a podcast by Autodidactic, and it talks about how it's not from this timeline, or things just don't feel right, they feel off. And it's interesting because as each day passes, and whether we're evolving internally or externally, it's more and more things just don't seem to feel connected to me. The places, the people, it just seems more and more to be of an unknown, repetitive origin. It just feels false and fake. The same how I cannot work for the system anymore. It has to be in a community-based area, something filled with progress and love, not stagnation. And more food, types of food that I enjoyed eating before, is now even more being removed from my diet. I feel like it's time to remove most of the meat products. So I'm trying different foods to see which ones my stomach likes and agrees with. Whether chicken and fish is okay, but I believe as the days go past, more and more is removing. Even coffee, replacing it for tea. I don't know if that's the universe evolving or myself becoming more crystalline, more sensitive, I don't know. It's hard, really, to watch your diet change. Even though I'm not of weight and probably need to exercise, sometimes I just feel like everything's shifting. My faith is still with God and Source Creator and the angels and the Fae and all of the like. My belief in my path, myself, and where I want to go. Whether these are testing times to see whether we falter from our belief, I don't know. I know for a fact what I want to do, where I want to go. And you see, I was talking to someone today about how the value of money doesn't change your dream or your perspective. For me, if I was to win 1 million, I still buy a house, I focus on myself, focus on my paintings, my dream, my reality, my plants, and these sorts of things. And then if I win more than that, which I know I will, then the plan doesn't change, just the growth, the expansion, the size of the community does. So it doesn't change my path, it just changes who comes along with me, what I can do. And that led me to a lot of different videos or understandings, you might say. And I've been skeptical of many different podcasts, and you've got to be careful with the ones that highlight specific things or try to take you in a direction that's not for you. And one of those things for me is always digital currency or cryptocurrency. I indulged in it a few years ago, and it had a purpose. It helped me buy some things and it helped me live for a while, but now I no longer use it. You see, any spiritual faction or nature or group who is highlighting cryptocurrency as the new way is not of a spiritual nature. It is not. It is control. Any form of digital currency that is not in your pocket, in your wallet, is leading to you a sense of control. It is a red flag. We need money in society, whether it's banks, money, and all of that, sure, but these things like Bitcoin and Ripple, they have no real value in this world that we can't do already. It is making people believe that we don't need the cash money, that we don't need that in society, and forcing them to think a different imaginative creation. It is false light leading you astray. And why would any spiritual group communicate something like that? Especially when it comes those sort of lines. Any spiritual group that communicates through a military purpose, I'm sorry, is not for you. We understand teachings are of God. They're of the soul. They're of the singular person who you are. I don't wish to follow a military regime, a political regime, a financial regime, or any of the schemes. So when I see spiritual leaders or so-called teams who are trying to highlight the best in people, and they produce this sort of false information, it is not for me. It is misleading. It is shameful. But who am I to judge? Be for yourself. And there's a lot of comments in take what you want from it, take what you will. Some things are good, some things are not. It's what we make of our life. But don't forget, in the world that we live in, what people are capable of, what groups are capable of, infiltration, false flags, and operatives masquerading as friends. But it brings me to a point of, do we actually need money? I've said this before. I see a cashless society. Years before, where we don't need money and we just enjoy the things that we do. It's not going back to primitive Amish times where we don't have any of that. No, it's just you remove the burden, the chase, the desire for cash to buy things, material possessions, and removal of attachments. And we as a society grow. It's hard to say, my apologies. But we do. As a society, we grow. As a community, we grow. You see where all of this power and money and manipulation has led us to be. Where the rich get richer and the poor stay poor and the middle class are the ones left paying the taxes. Money has its place in society, I agree. We can utilize that if people need it. If people feel like they need to get paid for their services, then so be it. I think when we start seeing money more as a tool, as a piece of plastic or a piece of paper, something that can be printed, it has no real value at all. If you take it back to being backed by gold, then why don't we just use gold? Another commodity. So much in finances can destroy the mind for who we really are. This is what money does. It makes greedy people greedy. It makes those wish for more. When the righteous and the good people who know what to do with it are always the ones in pain. It's fascinating how people can be easily manipulated or controlled or migrated through faith. Some things slipped under the radar or put in your face and then ignored, blindly accepting without rebellion. Money is coming, no doubt. And I was saying to myself a lot that sometimes it's the removal of the attachments first, the hardships faced first. But why? so we don't spend it unwantedly or on things that don't need to be. We know how to use it. We plant seeds with it. We assign wealth to the right people, to the growth of nations and communities, not in the hands of greedy corporations or greedy politicians or businesses or galleries or anything that uses it just to profit themselves. And it's a shame when you start seeing things like that into a so-called spiritual avenue. So be mindful when people are trying to mislead you. If you feel from the heart, that's what this time means. It's about removing yourself from a follower and placing yourself as a leader. And when you go inward and you have those moments when you seek clarity, when you are understanding of who you are and where you're going and what people are trying to do, you witness these things, you see it. More and more Australia is showcasing its hand, and politics is turning foul and evil. I don't know what the time brings. Frankly, I don't place my attention there. It's a distraction to where I want to get to. We have to be mindful of it, of course. But one of my big dreams is to be able to start a new one. To have people remove these types of puppets and suits out of their mindset and start focusing more on a community-based, thriving environment where they are not invited. Maybe that's the new 5D. Maybe that's the new reality. But what it does mean is that we'll never have to worry about money ever again. And that's the beauty of it. Because when you take money out of the equation, and I mean honest worth money, and you start living for who you are in the moment without fear, without insurances or policies to your name, and you just start living and being because you choose to, it has so much more power behind it. Because you enjoy the day. So it is with that, I leave you with peace and love. Take care.